Good to have you with us on America's Day at the Races from New York City's racetrack at the Big A here at Aqueduct South Ozone Park, New York. Also live coverage from Tampa Bay Downs. A couple of races on the lawn this afternoon, and we'll have two stakes races on Saturday from Tampa. Clips Awards, we'll talk who is the top trainer in the country with three very deserving candidates. All that and more ahead on this Friday edition of America's Day at the Races. Greg Wolf alongside New York Racing Association handicapper Andy Serling. Good to be with you here as we have the final three on the card from New York.
We do. And we're racing from Tampa as well. And a lot to talk about, obviously, on today's show. Some unfortunate news to talk about a little bit later, but a lot of things to talk about as the Eclipse Awards are now a couple of weeks away, basically. A lot of talk about them.
Yes, including what I think we both agree we think is going to be a lock for Horse of the Year.
Yeah.
Trainer category, though, which we will be discussing later in the show. We'll see what happens.
It's a funny year for the trainers because, you know, obviously Bill Mott's gotten a lot of attention, deservedly so, but it's a lot of people, and I don't disagree, you're giving an award because of one horse. It's not as though Bill's never won the Eclipse Award before, but none of the big guns had great years by their standards, you know, so, but are you supposed to punish top trainers because they've done better in other years, whether they may be deserving this year? Interesting conversation.
A little bit of victim of their own success,
sure.
Particularly with one trainer who we all know, we won't name.
Yeah, well, it's not just true of Chad, it's true of Todd Fletcher, and you could argue it's true of Brad Cox as well. They had good years, but maybe not as good as some of the years they've had in the past.
Race 6 at Tampa, post time coming up. A look at the current odds here and this 6 furlong sprint.
Now, Maggie's going to Tampa the next couple days. She's here today, but she's out in the paddock, and I know Maggie well, and she's probably thinking, you know, why couldn't I go to Tampa when it's like 25 degrees up here, like last week? Whereas it's nice out today.
She's going to be there tomorrow?
Tomorrow and Sunday. You heard about
she's still here right now?
Airplanes. You've heard about airplanes, right? They fly people down.
That's a tough schedule, though. She is putting in work for us.
She's a trooper.
Bet all the action at NYRA Bets. Get that $200 deposit match, new customer bonus. With that code, you saw their bonus 200 right there at NYRABets.com. So this race coming up right now, Bloody Colors Wave, 2-1 favorite. What's your take on the 4?
I think the 4 and 5 are the two horses to beat. There's also the possibility they hook up a little bit up front. Now, we're dealing with a dead rail situation in New York. I don't know what's going on down at Tampa, but I think the concern with both the 4 and 5, and I don't know, I can't believe the 5 won't be the second choice at worst by post time. I'm not sure the great appeal of the 7, who did win his last, but is a little slow, or she is. I didn't really see anywhere else to go. The 1's 4-1. That horse hasn't run in a year and broke a maiden with a very slow race. I thought the 10, Mama Drama, if you were looking for a little bit of a price. Is Mama Drama really supposed to be 10-1 in this race?
Yeah, I mean, look, Gulf, bottom level, but Gulfstream, last time we saw this, 5-year-old mare who's very lightly raced. And that was the best performance of her career last time that we saw her.
Yeah, now it was 5.5 furlongs, but it's not like she's impossible. And I thought if the pace got kind of hot, maybe that she could be the one to take advantage of it. But I don't have an argument against the 4 and 5 here.
Yeah, I mean, the 4, Bloody Colors Wave, hit the board off a short layoff. And it was the first time back to dirt since the debut in career start number 8. It's somewhat positive there. Maybe could build off the surface switch, second back on dirt.
Not going to argue with that.
Princess Vera, by the way, too, the one, won the debut. It was January 1st of 25. Muddy track at Park. So first time ever on a fast track and a long layoff and a lot of equipment changes.
And a very slow race that she won first time out. So, yeah, she's undefeated. But these horses are actually better than the ones she faced, and coming off a year, not the direction that I would go in.
You know, was dead last early, got up to win with a very bad beginning, and now she gets the rail for the comeback.
Now the 10 is coming off of a 6-month layoff, but the 10's almost 10-1.
All right.
Did you get that exciting news?
Yes, we are moving to network. You just joined us on Fox Sports 2. You've joined us just in time for the start of Tampa Bay Downs Race 6 here on America's Day at the Races. We have the final 3 of the card from New York. Races 6, 7, and 8 and ahead. The 7th of feature. It is a good one with 2 speedsters in Vetriano and 1-900. First things first, though, Tampa Bay, Greg Wolf, Andy Serling with you. We'll get to Maggie Wolfendale when we get back to New York. Here it's the 4, Bloody Colors Wave, the 9-5 favorite, and a rematch with Money Magnets, the 5.
And I think the 4 and 5 are both potential horses to get involved in the pace together, and if they start battling up front, maybe it sets up for somebody else. I thought Mama Drama, the 10, might be the alternative if you were looking for somebody else. The public is going to the 7 is the other horse. I guess that horse could win, but I preferred others.
Jason Beam with a call. Here's race 6 at Tampa Bay, 6 furlongs in this non-winners of 2 life claiming race.
For the Saturday. Backseat Romance. Going in. Country Economics. Marcos Meneses, the final one to join. Country Economics going up and in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Bloody Colors Wave, Money Magnets showing good early speed. Those two are quickest, driving up Mama Drama and La Vecchia Signora to join them. And between horses, Country Economics is close up as well. It's Mama Drama from the outside, now narrowly to the front. La Vecchia Signora to the outside. Country Economics is now 3rd. Money Magnets broke sharp but settles 4th. Same with Bloody Colors Wave, who's now back 5th. Length and a half more after that, back to On Reserve. Gold stamp with 2 beat early on. Those are Princess Vera. And Backseat Romance is the trailer as Mama Drama leads them through an opening quarter, 22.20 seconds. So to the far turn they roll. Mama Drama 3/4 in front of Country Economics. La Vecchia Signora toward the inside. Now coming into contention, Money Magnets. 4th, but gaining up on the outside, draws to within 2.5 to leader. It's 2 more then, back to Bloody Colors Wave, who tries to rally from 5th. Gold Stamp is about 5 or 6 lengths behind as they come to the top of the stretch. Mama Drama still in front. It's Mama Drama, but a host of challengers. Money Magnets, Bloody Colors Wave right down the center, trying to reel in Mama Drama. Here comes Money Magnets. Here comes Bloody Colors Wave. La Vecchia Signora is just in behind in the yellow colors. Princess Vera's made up good ground down to the inside. Money Magnets just in front by the 16th pole. Down the outside, Bloody Colors Wave. Money Magnets, Bloody Colors Wave surging as they drive to the wire. Bloody Colors Wave, maybe. It got close there with Money Magnets. La Vecchia Signora after that and Mama Drama.
Well, the rematch between the 4 and 5, dead tight at the finish. Did the 4 get up?
I think the 4 got up. I'm laughing because I said the 4 and 5 are the right 2 horses, the 4 being the one to beat. But I was a little worried that they'd sort of beat each other to death up on the front end.
Yeah,
and maybe
quite.
my 10 could come along and pick up the pieces. Instead, the 10 somehow went to the lead, and the 4 and 5 picked up the pieces at the end. I thought the 4 got there, but I guess we'll wait for the photo.
All right, back to New York, race 6. Claiming race, all for sale in this race for $12,500. It's non-winners of 2 life, so just maiden wins to the resume. 7 furlongs. In Spirit of Esther, the 4, surprisingly favored right now.
Yeah, I'm going to look at the multi-race bets. I can't believe that horse is going to be favored over the 1, but I wonder if people are a little
Or
bit...
the 2 even, right?
Yeah, oh, the 2, right. We have to talk about the 2, right? I'm looking, you're right. The 1 is, no, the 4 is favored in doubles over the 1 and 2. We should talk about the 2 because it's incredible this horse isn't favored in the drop down. And I'm trying to beat her, but this is amazing.
Yeah.
Bad sign, huh?
Shocking indeed. Let's bring in Maggie Wolfendale for more on this 6th from Aqueduct. Maggie.
The board is surprising, guys. I could not agree more when it comes to number 2 in here. That's funny because with that drop in class, I thought she surely would be one of the favorites, the favorite, I should say, because physically in the paddock, she was a bit of a standout. I mean, I've liked her in the past, don't get me wrong, but that was in against tougher fields. And today, this is the lowest that she's run for other than, that maiden 20, which honestly, after she won that, this is probably the most logical spot for her running for this 12.5. The blinkers come immediately off as they went on. First off, the claim for that 50. She was just outrun at every step of the way and wired by Tiz Purple back on November 28th. The one thing I will say is that I wish she kicked on a little bit more in the warm-up. She's framed up beautifully as she normally does, but Jamie never really had her kind of going and getting into stride. So we'll see how she does here, but I agree with the guys that 5-2 on her feels like a bit of a negative sign. On to her inside with number 1, Blenheim Baby. For Jorge Abreu, she looks great. Honestly, she's really turned her life around since earlier this year as far as just her physical appearance. She's put on weight and conditioning even more so than when I saw her two back. Yes, those front wraps do stay on, which concerns me a bit. But she warmed up really nicely for Flavien Prat. I was skeptical in the paddock, but once I saw her warm up, it gave me more confidence in her chances at this level as she takes another bit of a drop in class. Last time, she's way far back early, and she saved ground. She was a distant second behind Kyle's mom. We did have that runoff leader, which is actually in this race too, and it will be fun. But I do think, of between the 1 and the 4 guys, I would prefer Blenheim Baby. But, I want to like the 2, Andy, but that price is scary.
I don't want to bet the 2. I don't trust the drop down, and obviously the public is feeling the same way. This is a track where you've got to be outside. We're seeing horses evaporate down on the inside. It looks like the old Belmont Park there. I prefer the 3. It will be fun, but I don't know how you look at this race and go, and the 5 won it, by the way, at Tampa. The 5 held on.
Wow, that was shot. Yeah, it looked like the 4 had snuck by. Money Magnet's the win.
I'm happy to bet a couple dollars on the 3 here because I think the 5-to-1's a generous price, but this is a very hard race to
Well, Maggie mentioned the 2 framing up nicely in the warm-up. Absolutely. That's funny. Has looked very good in the pre-race warm-up. Now loading at 2-to-1, but Blenheim Baby remains that price. The 4 not far behind. Those 3 very close in the wagering.
The 1 should be able to get off the rail because she has no speed. My 3 is loose, but Kokakaya's got to realize to stay away from the rail.
Chris Griffin, the call. Here's race 6 from Aqueduct.
Chianti. Last to load. Bittershins. Bittershins. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Hopping in the air at the start there was It Will Be Fun, will be the early trailer. Spirit of Esther has the early speed, and Spirit of Esther is a clear leader. Karis Chianti is now going to be a stalking second at the rail. Blenheim Baby is now back to 5th, as rushing up towards the outside as Vittershins has taken 3rd. Just behind them, That's Funny's in 4th. Now from the back end, It Will Be Fun is on the move. It Will Be Fun is running off here on Gochan. Kochakaya wanted to be on the lead, and now 23-4, but a new leader. It Will Be Fun from the back of the pack is now in front, is up by 2 with 4 furlongs left to go. It Will Be Fun takes him into the turn. Spirit of Esther is back to 2nd. Karis Chianti gets the cue, is in 3rd and ready to challenge. Just behind them, That's Funny. Jamie Rodriguez is in 4th. Here comes Blenheim Baby, starts to rally on. Bittershins is the trailer. 47.15 for a half-mile time. Can It Will Be Fun keep this up? It Will Be Fun. Karis Chianti, and here comes the move from That's Funny in the center of the racetrack, and That's Funny is now sprinting on by. That's Funny is trying to kick away. Battling on at the rail is Spirit of Esther. From the back, Blenheim Baby is trying to make up 4.5 on the leader. That's Funny is just sprinting away. That's Funny. Blenheim Baby still with a shot inside the final 16th. That's Funny with too big a margin. That's Funny will win it. That's Funny over Blenheim Baby. Then Spirit of Esther and Karis Chianti. 1 minute 26.59 seconds.
Cruise control against this group. That's Funny. Easy victory here to take race 6. Goes off as the second choice, I believe, at 2-to-1.
If this horse was trained by Linda Rice, you'd be getting about 290. But listen, I picked this horse 3rd. I was trying to beat this horse as well. And it is interesting, and she was best, obviously. The 3 had a crazy trip in there after getting left and rushing the lead. But she wasn't winning anyway. This is like the old balcony Belmont, where horses that are down the inside are just evaporating. And all the good running all day has been out horses on the middle of the racetrack, which are often closers unless the riders, like they were in race number 5, were able to stay away from the rail. But you just see them circling wide. The wider, the better. And boy, this dead rail came out of nowhere. I have not seen a dead rail track like this at Aqueduct in a long, long, long time. It's going to rain tomorrow, so that'll probably change.
Jamie Rodriguez for Wayne Potts. Big drop down in class. That's Funny at 2-to-1. Down to Maggie.
And guys, she was much the best here, but I do want to make a point about number 3 in here. It will be fun. As I said it, 2 weeks ago when she ran last, she really makes riders look horrible because she blows the brake every time. You see there, she jumped up and she's last, and Kokakaya is trying to get her to settle, and she's fighting him every step of the way, and then he knows he's fighting a losing battle and just puts his hands down and she runs off. You cannot win races like this. I tried with her last time, and I thought Sahin Savachi did the best he could with her in getting her to settle a bit more, but she just runs her races the wrong way, and she's one I will never take again here. But no doubt about your winner, and it feels like Wayne Potts' horses are running well here and at Oaklawn Park.
So that's funny, 2-1. Your winner, 2-1-4-5 finish. 2 for Jamie Rodriguez this afternoon. Prices from race 6 when we come back from a timeout. Feature race is next. Should be a good one with the likes of Vetriano and 1-900. We'll talk Eclipse Awards. Who deserves to be named Outstanding Trainer? Brad Cox knows the feeling, as does Hall of Famer Bill Mott. Chad Brown, will he collect a 6th Eclipse Award? We'll talk the award next. Good to have you with us on our Friday coverage. You're watching America's Day at the Races here on Fox Sports 2. It's brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the sport, visit americasbestracing.net. Today, that's funny, goes off at a much better than expected price here. Wayne Potts, big drop down in class from 15 non-winners of 2 to 12-5 non-winners of 2, and wins this one very easily.
And incredibly, there were no claims for this horse. That to me is more shocking than the horse paying $680. And listen, everybody thought the way I did to take a shot against this horse, and I was wrong and they were wrong. You were not wrong, Greg. You thought this horse was a very likely winner.
Yes, and wins convincingly. And Wayne Potts and company, Bella Blue Racing, will try and get to run it back with this 4-year-old filly. Jamie Rodriguez has mentioned a couple of wins on this Friday card, $6.80. And you see that pick 3 as we approach the final 2 here. If you played the pick 5, that is a healthy return if you're still alive. With, what, a 42-1 shot that went earlier in the sequence?
This late pick 5 is, you're alive. I wish you the best of luck.
Feature race is next. Allowance optional claiming group, 6 furlongs. And not just a very good group, 2 very incredibly fast horses up front. Vetriano, the 2, 1/900, the 5. Should duke it out up front.
I agree. We'll see. I mean, the 5 benefits from being outside of Vetriano, and I think Jose Lezcano, judging by the ride he gave in race number 5, seems to be aware if you're in front, you need to stay away from the rail. So I don't think you'll see that horse inside. And any rider that's inside is not really paying attention to what's going on in this racetrack today because it's a side disadvantage. And we'll see if they set it up for somebody else. Little funny that there's early money for High Oak, who's going to be, not surprisingly, the longest shot on the board by post time. Poor High Oak at one time had Derby aspirations.
Here's what's ahead, presented by Claiborne Farm. Races 7 and 8 to close things out here in New York and Tampa. Races 7 through 9. Linda Rice already with 3 wins today, by the way. And she's got Vetriano here in the 7th and a major chance as well with Bellamy in the last. So we'll see what happens with her day.
She looked pretty live on this card.
Yes, she did. And it's already panned out to that point. Talking about the Eclipse Awards, top trainer, and all these trainers in this category, they've experienced this before. No one more than Chad Brown, who won his 5th Eclipse Award last year and in great position to win yet another.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an argument for Chad. He didn't have the kind of years he's had some years past, but I could see the argument if you're purely looking at just the numbers relative to other trainers in here. Brad Cox, similar, Lead and Money won, though a lot of it probably the Dubai World Cup with Hit Show winning. Chad had a very, very good year this year. Not as good as some other years, but he certainly had a Eclipse Award worthy year relative to the other competition.
I think that's important that you bring that up because a lot of voters, there is no, criteria. So everyone just kind of goes off what they know. And a lot of people expect him to be more dominant because he is a victim of his own success than he has been. And maybe some people are going to punish him for that.
I think that's a very good point. And I think there is a lot of, sort of love for Bill Mott with Sovereignty. I think you have to be careful with giving it to people with just, one really good horse. Chad had very, very good numbers overall. He's got a very potent stable. I was a little surprised. I thought Todd Pletcher might be one of the finalists instead of Brad Cox. I'm not saying it's Todd did very well in Saratoga, did well in the fall. Overall, the full year, I think he won at 19% for the entire 12 months, something like that, which isn't bad, but it's not as good as he has in the past.
It makes you think, what do I got to do to be a finalist?
Well, for many years, Todd would consistently win at a 24 to 25% clip. I think two things have affected Todd. One is the abundance of synthetic racing at Gulfstream. He is not dominating at Gulfstream the way he used to in years past. But number 2, I think with the emergence of Brad, the emergence of Chad, and other trainers, they're getting more good 2-year-olds. And where Todd had such a hammerlock on top 2-year-olds, not that dissimilar to the way Bob Baffert does out in California. And I just don't think you can expect to keep up. There's always going to be some new kid knocking on the door.
And so, let's get to Bill Mott now too. It's part of the story, obviously, with Bill Mott. It's hand in hand. The year that Sovereignty had. Let me ask you this: if Sovereignty had lined up in the Classic and won the Classic, overwhelming, deserving favorite?
Bill?
Or no?
I don't know. He's probably going to win because I think these things become sort of popularity contests. And Bill had this very exciting year with Sovereignty. I talked to some other voters that sort of agree with me that, you give it to a trainer because they had one really good horse. And, I know he won the Breeders' Cup race with Scylla. On the other hand, Scylla did not have a particularly great year.
Yeah.
I mean, she ran okay, but she didn't win races throughout the year. But Bill had a very good year, but a lot of those earnings are one horse. One
really,
very good horse who Bill handled very well.
They believe he deserves it?
Oh, yeah. I've talked to some that do. I've talked to some that said I would not vote for somebody. Bill's won 4 Eclipse. Listen, Bill's a great, great trainer, and I don't know that there's a trainer out there that you would prefer to have with a good horse than Bill Mott.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there are other people that are worthy that are very good with good horses, but you give Bill Mott a good horse, and he is extremely good with that horse.
No better proof than what we saw with Sovereignty. We're going to get traded to coming back as a 4-year-old. Meanwhile, Brad Cox, it's amazing with the volume he has, the win percentage rate that he has year after year. He's almost consistently 28% year after year.
He's a very good trainer, does very well. I think what hurts him this year is his almost complete lack of participation in the Breeders' Cup. I think he only had 2 runners in the Breeders' Cup, and I thought as the year progressed, he started out like a house on fire. It didn't hold up throughout the year. I think the world of Brad. He's a terrific guy personally, and he's a tremendous trainer. As you can see, $30 million, almost 280 wins. I believe a lot of those earnings, though, are hit show, to be fair. I'm not certain, but I believe so. I mean, trainer of good cheer. I wouldn't want to use that for the reason that he should be trainer of the year, and I'm not blaming Brad, but this is a horse that the criticism going into the Kentucky Oaks was she never got better, and she really just didn't, and she really sort of finished the year blah. Not terrible, but not that great. But Brad had a very good year, but no trainer had that year where you go, this person just stood out from the rest.
Which makes it a tough category to vote for. Let's bring in Maggie, get her thoughts.
By far the murkiest category, I think, that we have for this year's Eclipse Awards. And like Andy, I abstain. We don't vote. So I feel like we can freely kind of talk about this as well. And, as I agree with Andy that it turns into a popularity contest, and that's probably why I would ultimately give it to Bill Mott, just because I've been one of his biggest fans throughout the entirety of his career and what he's been able to achieve to get, these good horses that keep going, I think is really a testament to his horsemanship overall. But when you get down to the numbers of everything, and while he maybe didn't have as good of a year as he often does, Chad Brown has to win it. When you look at just purely the statistics side of it, I know Saratoga didn't go quite as well as he had hoped, but ultimately with the 10 Grade 1 wins, it just feels like he is a deserved winner of this year's Eclipse Award. So yes, I'm glad I don't vote Greg, because I would struggle with this category mightily.
Okay, I think we all view it a little bit differently.
Yeah, what I would say, I understand, and I don't disagree with what Maggie said. By Chad's standards, Saratoga may have been a bit of a disappointment. He still won 35 races and tied for the trainer's title with Todd Pletcher. So, and I don't disagree by his standards, and I don't think he would disagree. He didn't have a great Saratoga. He won the training title with 35 wins, so he still had a pretty damn good year. And if we're going to not give awards out because somebody didn't have as good a year as we think they should have had, but Maggie did make the point that Chad doesn't have the numbers.
That should not be part of the criteria, judging this year against what he's done in the past.
I agree. You shouldn't say, I'm not giving it to him because he didn't have a good year, even though, as Maggie said, the numbers say he should win this year.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back. Race 7 from Tampa. We're going to be on the turf down in South Florida.
We'll be on the turf today. It's very warm here.
Mile coming up out of the chute. Not quite that. Well, I guess it is. We'll be back. Tampa's 7th next.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
$1,600,000 $1,600,000 now $1,600,000 bid now bid now $650,000 $1,650,000 anybody else want $650,000 bid today $1,650,000 $1,600,000 thank you.
Say hi to our new stallion, Highland Falls. From his winning debut to that spectacular Jockey Club Gold Cup.
It is Highland Falls. He wins another one. This time the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Even his buyer was high. The race his sire made his own by a widening 4 lengths. A host of Grade 1 winners far behind. High and goodbye. running a 107 when second in an All-Star Whitney. The rise and rise of Highland Falls. High class, on the track and on the page. This is his dam, winning the Acorn and then the Distaff. Aim high, breed to a well-bred son of Curlin. Highland Falls, new to Darley.
This winter, give the gift of racing with NYRA Bets gift cards. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NYRABets.com.
Back with you on America's Day of the Races here on Fox Sports 2 as we take you to Tampa for race 7. Mile on the turf, out of the chute in this condition claiming race, where the favorite is the 4, Aegon Targaryen, Gerald Bennett.
Comes against a fast win against Cheaper. Probably going to get loose again today. Probably the worst to beat.
Here's Visparo to start off the post parade.
Yeah, I thought Visparo was a little bit on the slow side, but not impossible. But should be forward.
Huge price who wants to be forward. Joe from Kiev.
Yeah. In other words, it could be forward. I didn't think it was good enough.
Back-to-back pretty strong efforts from the 3 who seems to be moving forward here, Magic Heart.
Don't disagree. So it's not impossible.
Next door, the favorite, Daniel Centeno rides.
Shouldn't be 6-5. This is a one-number horse. You know, we talk about one-number horses. It is the last race, but I'm not convinced that you want to take a super short price, but the horse to beat.
Horse we've seen a lot of in New York, out of Waterbury.
I don't disagree. This horse was outclosed by the horse outside of him last time, Special Agent Johnson, but at 8-1 is very playable.
There is Special Agent Johnson, second off a short rest.
We'll need the race to collapse, has no speed.
And some traffic trouble in that last start. Toro forward, 12-1 on the 7.
Maybe it moved a little prematurely last time. Actually ran pretty well last time. Not impossible.
This one a little tougher to make a case for. Dial him up.
I agree. Not talking you off a 30-1 shot, but looks a little slow.
All right, you have something for us on Makoa.
Well, why don't we wait till after the post parade? But I have a tremendous trainer stat, so I have to bet a few dollars on this.
Gelding, by the way, who's 8-1. And then Latin Force outside, 65-1.
Looks a little slow. So here's the trainer stat of Makoa for trainer Darian Rodriguez. Trainer switches in turf routes, which this horse is. And people should understand, trainer switches are not claims. They're switches, not claimed. He is 8 for 18 over 5 years with a 560 ROI. 10 of them were at Tampa, where he won with 5 of them. So he's got big numbers off the claim. Off a trainer switch on turf routes. So that alone, I'm betting Makoa.
All right, so that's Andy's play on the 9, Makoa. Just off that little spiel right there, 8-1 to 5-1.
Yeah, that was the reason. Literally seconds after it came out of my mouth, people were flying in to bet. And judging by my performance, by the way, in handicapping since the new year has started, my horses should be going up in odds, not down. But that will change. I'm confident. I can't suck this badly all year.
Goes in cycles. This sport, maddening, but we love it. 7-5 favorite. It is the 4 who, I don't know. Yeah, obviously, Beyer-wise, it was a big jump last start. Thoroughgraph-wise, it was the same number the last 2 starts.
Really? And see the horse to beat off those numbers?
He's in the mix. I mean, that Magic Heart's right there as well, the 3.
Oh, he could win this race off his race 2 back. I don't disagree with that philosophically.
Yeah.
I don't love the idea of taking super short prices on horses moving through their conditions. And this horse
has to be
a conditional claimer. Yes. But there's a good chance this horse will clear, though. I don't know. The last race, the 4 and 5 looked like they were going to duel for the lead, and the 10 went the lead, and the 4 and 5 ran 1-2 closing. So what the hell do I know?
Centeno knows his job. He'll be hopping aboard this one, though, for the first time. But it's Send with this, what is expected to be the speedster of this field. This 4 the favorite for Gerald Bennett, 8-5 now.
One of the things that I like about Oaklawn, as much as any track, the pace projector from the Timeform US, it holds up there. If it looks like speed, they go. You know what I mean? A lot of other tracks here, Tampa, I don't have a lot of confidence that the pace projector is necessarily going to prove to be. I don't think the pace projector is wrong. I think that the riders have different ideas out there, whereas a place like Oaklawn, they ride them the way they look.
Loading up the 9. Andy made the case for Makoa. Switching Barnes has been in the money at 4 of 5 on the lawn here at Tampa, by the way. 5-1 on that horse.
Well, that horse isn't impossible. A little on the slow side, but I'm going for the trainer change angle, and I think it's a new owner too. Last ran at Delaware in September.
A fairly healthy price on the 3. I know it's this one jumping up a little bit in class, but numbers
not impossible.
Seem like they're right there with the 4.
I don't disagree. That horse is not impossible at all.
Jason Beam with the call. Here's race 7 at Tampa.
Gate 4, Mokoa up to gate 9. The final 2 are going to be Out of Waterbury and Latin Force. Will be all set for a start. Today's late pick 3, race 7 on the turf. Out of Waterbury going up, Latin Force. Alonso Quinones to the outside. Going in. They're in the gate. Out of Waterbury hopped right at the start, came away a distant last there, is about 10 lengths behind and not really being persevered with as the rider doesn't have the irons in. Jose Ferrer well back out of Waterbury early on here. So Aegon Targaryen got right to the front, quickly opens up a length and a half on Toro Forward. Down at the inside, Joe from Kiev racing in 3rd. Length more to Latin Force. Vesparo's just in behind them, 5th. After that comes Mokoa 6th. Magic Hearts to the inside of the black colors in 7th. Right to that one's outside Special Agent Johnson. It's 5 more lengths then. Back to Dial Him Up. And it's about 15 or 20 back to Out of Waterbury, who's a distant trailer here, but is still running on. So they go to the back stretch. Aegon Targaryen bet down to 4-5. Leads him through an opening quarter, 23.26 seconds. The lead bumped out to 2 to Toro Forward 2nd. Joe from Kiev 3rd, traveling well down along the fence. It's 2.5 more to Latin Force. Vesparo, they race together 4th and 5th. They're 2 in front of another pair. That's Mokoa and Special Agent Johnson out wide. In behind that comes Magic Heart. 3 or 4 more back to Dial Him Up, and still that big gap, 10 or so back to Out of Waterbury. 46.77 seconds. So Aegon Targaryen's gone quickly, but that lead is still 3.5 lengths as they go to the far turn. Aegon Targaryen, now it's down to 2.5. Getting closer here. Joe from Kiev on the inside. Toro Forward on the outside. Aegon Targaryen, that leads just a length now. Joe from Kiev means business. So does Toro Forward on the outside. They're coming after Aegon Targaryen at the top of the stretch. 2.5 more to Mokoa, who's 4th, as they have a final furlong left to go. Aegon Targaryen still with something left, fighting toward the inside, a 2-length advantage over Joe from Kiev. Mokoa up the inside. Late run from Magic Heart coming up between horses, but Aegon Targaryen was playing cat there. Aegon Targaryen with plenty left goes on to win it by 3.5 in the end. Magic Heart was 2nd, 3rd went to Mokoa. After that, Special Agent Johnson, Joe from Kiev.
Game of Thrones fans all over this one. Aegon Targaryen, favorite, gets it done pretty easily.
Able to control at a relatively moderate pace on a fairly firm turf course and just prove much the best. No excuse for my 9, who at least should have been 2nd here. Got a very good ride by Sammy. Just got caught by the horse you mentioned, Magic Heart, the number 3, but no doubt about the winner.
4-3-9 finish. Post-parade happened a few moments ago here in New York. We'll start this our feature race. Big Hat Willie to kick things off from the inside.
Yeah, I mean, all of the horses, not the 2 and 5, are trying to win, have some credentials, and they have to hope the pace gets hot. And this is one of the horses, if it does, could pick it up.
3 wins, last 4 starts for him. Vetriano, the speedster for Linda Rice.
Kendrick has to find a way off the inside.
Toxic Gray had been very good, came off a layoff and was awful.
Yeah, but he is 2nd off a layoff, and he has some fast races, but he is a horse that's best on the front end.
Maybe the speed of the speed, 1/900.
I think if he's able to control as the speed, and if he goes quickly, I'm a big fan of this horse. I thought he was the one to beat.
Horse who could pick up the pieces if a speed duel happens up front, Mr. Skylight.
Off the claim for Joe Sharp, who was 23% off the claim in dirt sprints with a $1.70 ROI over 5 years.
And the once very good Ioke, his career has seen a lot of ups and downs. Back from his first start since March.
Well, you and I always root for our good friend Leon Seidler, who truly is one of the most wonderful people in the history of horse racing. But it's tough to take a horse making just his 3rd start in a 2-year period, especially when his last race a year ago was atrocious.
What an appearance from Vetriano. Let's head downstairs to Maggie as we get set for the 7th.
Just kind of want to touch on the matchup between Vetriano and 1/900 in here, as they are both fast. But what's interesting about both of them is that their first few steps neither of them are that quick. Yes, they have high cruising speeds, and while 1/900 is second off of a layoff and definitely a lot more tucked up, having that race at Churchill under his belt, he has the opportunity to be on the outside, which could be beneficial given the way that we've seen the track playing. And we'll see how things shape up. The one thing I'll say in Vetriano's favor is that last time we actually saw him switch leads, which has been his Achilles heel. He loves to linger on his inside lead, but he also shows a lot of determination and fight in his races. So he kind of likes to tussle. As we'll take a look here at some others, as Toxic Gray, he's second off the bench. He was a lot more awake in the paddock. I noted that he just was very quiet, very docile prior to his last start, and he definitely has some numbers to go back on if he can find one of those races from before. Now, number 6, Mr. Skylight, needs to find a faster race than he's ever run before, but as he goes for Joe Sharp, first off the claim, last time it was a wet track, very heavy horse, had a horrible beginning. I think he's better than that last race, Greg.
Maggie, thank you. Here we go. Keep your eyes on that battle up front between the two. Vetriano, the 5-1-900. Feature race on this Friday card from Aqueduct. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
Goes in. All set. And they're off. Speed to the outside. High Oak is right up towards the front, and 1-900 is now forwardly placed, and 1-900 is a neck in front. At the rail, Vetriano wants to push the tempo, and these two hook up in the early stages, is tipping to the outside of them. That's Toxic Gray. Toxic Gray throwing his head about, is in the 3 path here, chasing the top 2. Big Hat Willie is at the rail, is a challenging 4th, is to the outside. There is Mr. Skylight and the trailer, High Oak. 1-900, 22.66. Honest fractions there for that opening quarter mile. Trying to keep up, it's Vetriano at the rail, is losing ground. Toxic Gray on the move from 3rd as 1-900 is gliding along right now, approaching a quarter mile left to go. Vetriano continues to fight on towards the inside. 1-900 has got the lead, and Jose Lezcano now just nudging him along, and 1-900 is responding. 1-900 inside the final furlong is extending this margin. 1-900 Toxic Gray from the back trying to run on Mr. Skylight, but no doubt inside the final 16th. 1-900 dominates. Toxic Gray second, then Mr. Skylight and Vetriano in 1 minute 9.84 seconds.
1-900 dominates this performance here. 3 today for jockey Jose Lezcano. And the first start of this 4-year-old campaign for 1-900, very positive.
Got to be the first race we've seen under 110 for 6 furlongs in quite a while. This is a seriously good horse. And, I know the track isn't playing that quickly, but for this quality of horse, 22.66 is just not that fast. And, I mean, he left this field just completely left him. I think the other thing I like about him was he was finishing. It's not like he was falling apart at the end. It's not like horses were making up ground. He's always been very fast, but a lot of times they come to him. This race, he was impressive from start to finish. This is a very good horse.
And, yeah, potentially a lot better things to come in 2026. Pretty good starting point to beat a good group in here. Vetriano, nowhere in the end.
He was close to the inside, which didn't help him, but he just got, this horse just he broke his heart. I mean, listen, it's a long year, and he is a horse that, there's some gaps here and there, though he had a pretty full season, starting in May last year. I hope this guy can stay sound, because I don't see any reason this horse can't take a step forward into state company for Tom. I'd love to see that. This is a good horse.
Yeah, Tom Morley trainer. Jose Lezcano was mentioned, his 3rd winner today. For Stephen Rocco and Reeves Thoroughbred Racing, 4-year-old son of dialed in, now 3 wins from 7 career starts. 5-3, 6-2. Here in our featured 7th race with the nightcap to come. We'll talk more Eclipse Awards in the Distaff division. Will Torpedo Anna add more hardware to her incredible career? We'll take a look at that division in the Distaff division when we come back on America's Day at the Races. Back in our Fox Sports 2 coverage on this Friday afternoon from South Ozone Park, New York. It's brought to you in part by Hill & Dale at Alapa. Feature race in the books. It did not disappoint. 1/900. Huge performance for trainer Tom Morley. Third win of the day for that man aboard, Jose Lezcano. And what a way to kick off your 4-year-old campaign. Let's head downstairs to Maggie.
Here with co-owner Stephen Rocco. Shh, he's meant to be at work. So anyway, do we have a cognito name maybe we should refer to you by?
No, it's all right. Steve.
Talk about this horse. I know he was high on your list when it came to purchasing him as a 2-year-old, and to watch him turn into, especially the performance today, what's that kind of mean to you watching the development?
Well, this is probably the fastest horse I ever owned. Very special horse that we bought from OBS. And first of all, congratulations to all my partners who are, a few of them are here today. The breeder, Brian and his son. It's just a very, very fast animal. Tom has done a wonderful job with him, getting him to relax, to settle. And you saw it today. Today's the best race he has run in his career, in my opinion.
What I loved is that, he's not the quickest out of the gate, but he finds his stride quite easily. And the fact that he had Vetriano, who is a fast horse, an older horse, off the bridle by the 3/8 pole was very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, everything he does in the morning, it's so effortless. Kind of fools you a little bit, too. That first race back, I thought maybe a touch short fitness-wise, but he was so effortless in the morning. But you can see it in the race. He's just such natural speed, and he puts himself in the race. And, the key is, you press the button when you want to press the button. But he, just an amazing animal.
Hoping for...
Hope we can win some stakes, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for.
Thanks for answering my next question.
Yeah, that'll be nice. And certainly there's plenty of options here in the wintertime, and he loves the track. So I'll leave that to Tom, but that's the hope.
Well, congrats to you, the partners, even the breeder here today.
Yes, thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, Brian, the breeder, actually stopped me in Saratoga 2 years ago, Greg, and asked me about 1/900, and he and his son have not missed a race since.
It's a fun horse to follow. He is very quick, and we saw what kind of talent he has to finish. He just looks like he's taking a big move forward now as a 4-year-old.
I mean, I agree with very much what Steven was saying there. He just looks effortless out there. He's got a very fluid way of going. And listen, the competition's going to get tougher. Not this was a bad field that he dominated. He was very good. But I see no reason that you can't start dreaming about a horse like this right now. This was a terrific effort, his first start as a 4-year-old. I think his last race, even though he lost at Churchill, was very good. That race fell apart, and he was setting a fast pace. He's good.
Closing out this New York card on this Friday afternoon with this 8th here at 5.5 furlongs, $20,000 maiden claiming sprint, where Bellamy, Linda Rice, will try to get her 4th on the card. Just claim this one off of Todd Pletcher, and we'll cut this one back in distance.
Linda Rice off the claim with maidens and dirt on the dirt. It's just 18 for 85 over the last 5 years. It's 21%. It's a solid percentage, but she's $1.16 ROI. They're not delivering to their odds. And claimed this one from Todd Pletcher, ran in one dirt race and was abysmal. But I tell you what, has found the right field today to win and the right post outside.
Yeah. But there's several ways to go. This is a competitive group to close things out. We'll talk more about it in a moment. We're about 20 minutes to post. Let's get back to the Eclipse Awards and talk the Distaff division. And will she go out with a little more hardware? Torpedo Anna, who was so great for the sport, delivered so many tremendous moments, and unfortunately did not get another go at the Breeders' Cup this year.
I think that she is the most deserving winner in this category. She had an imperfect season, having run a couple of abysmal races. But she ran extremely well when she won this race. And I know she won a head bob, and it could have gone the other way. But had she lost the personal ensign, I think we would have said she lost, but she was best.
Yes.
And I think the second horse ran extremely well. I'm not trying to take anything away from the runner-up in there. But she made the first move into a race that collapsed and was extremely gritty. And I think it was nice to see that, even though she obviously didn't run well in the Spinster, but she just couldn't run anymore, that she was able to give that kind of effort last year. It showed that she still has it in there to give the kind of A effort she gave in that sensational 3-year-old season. So while she had a very imperfect season, she won 3 Grade 1s. She had some pretty good, I think 3 Grade 1s. She won the Apple Blossom, she won the Personal Ensign. Did she win another one in there or just have the 2? Am I missing? No, she won the Fleur de Lis. I think it was only the 2 Grade 1s.
Yeah, I believe just those 2 will confirm.
You can't give it to Scylla, as impressive as she was in the Breeders' Cup. She had a very imperfect season, and that's being kind. And I'm a big fan of Scylla.
We'll get to her in a moment. Let's talk Splendora next. trained by Bob Baffert. Just kind of filling out the group here.
She's a finalist? I wouldn't vote for her for Philly Sprinter, much less in this category. It's a neat horse, a Calbred. She obviously dominated that race. I think if Copey had run, it would have been a different result. And she's a neat horse, but she's, to me, I'm shocked that she's a finalist. I'm not.
And then back to who you brought up. Yes, she wins the Breeders' Cup Distaff, but her year before, up to that point, how would you label it? Disappointment?
Yeah. I mean, I bet her in the Breeders' Cup, so I got my money, more than my money back at the end of the year, but I bet her quite a few of those starts. And that doesn't mean she should have won just because I liked her, but I think what Bill realized in the Breeders' Cup was he probably should have been running her along all along. And I think she's still in training, right? So I imagine if she is, that Bill will continue to run her along. And she was crazy impressed in the Breeders' Cup. If she had one other big win during the year, I could say she deserves it. And, you know, I say this, I'm a bigger fan of Scylla than I am of Torpedo Anna. You know that I've always loved this horse. But I think that Torpedo Anna deserves it over Scylla.
And just the fact of what a story she's been in the sport, how many people and fans she created. Talk about, you know, for better or worse, probably for worse, popularity contest, she's going to get votes because of that.
Yeah, and I know you agree with me that these shouldn't be popularity contests.
They should not.
They should not. It should be, but I can't make a better argument for somebody else to win the Eclipse Award more than Torpedo Anna.
Yeah.
And I thought that personal ensign, I thought it was the race of the year in that division, and I thought she was just terrific that day.
Well, meanwhile, a first for this team. New York Racing Association here, America's Day at the Races. And congratulations to everybody who was part of it. The Media Awards, first ever win for live programming. Congratulations to the NYRA team and the America's Day at the Races team with that Belmont broadcast.
Yes, people not named Greg Wolf and Andy Serling that were on that show deserve a lot of credit, and a lot of people behind the scenes, and I'm particularly happy for Mike Mulvihill at Fox. Mike has been a great champion of horse racing. He's been a champion of you and I,
yes, he has.
A supporter of us for many years, but he's been a great supporter of racing in general and the importance of racing being on TV. He's been a great supporter of the New York Racing Association. I know how much this means to Mike, and I'm just so happy for him to be recognized because he is really somebody that's kind of gone out on a limb. And I think if Mike Mulvihill wasn't at Fox, I don't believe these shows would be on the air. I really don't.
And I'm not saying him a big thank you.
Mike has been a great friend of ours on racing, and not just ours, but of racing, and the importance of showing it on television. So I am extremely happy for him that we got that award, as well as everybody we work with, and so many people that work behind the scenes as well, involved in the production, obviously, and that staff, and the people we work with that you don't really get mentioned, cameramen, different people like that, people in the truck, and Pete Macheska, who's involved, who's a friend of ours as well. But I'm very happy for Mike particularly.
No question. Also, an award for Outstanding Feature, and that was the Healing Ride. That wins the Eclipse Award. That piece about how horses help the Mott family cope with that incredible tragedy with the loss of Riley Mott's daughter, Margot.
This was a great piece, and I'm not a homer for these things. If this piece had been done somebody else, I would have said this piece deserved to win. I thought they did an absolutely sensational job, and, you know, on a very tough story, but I thought they did a great job with this, and we appreciate all the support from Riley, as well as Bill and the whole family being involved in it. But it was a really good story, and I'm very happy it won, and proud of the job that all those people did. People not named Greg and Andy.
Yes, good work to everyone, and yeah, proud of our entire team, and well-deserved recognition. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to get back to live action out at Tampa when we return. 7 minutes to post in their 8th race on the afternoon. We will take you out there when we come back. That race, non-winners at 2 life, current favorite, a 7. Stay with us.
And it's lights out, locked, pouring it on, running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward, it is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the Big Cup. cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
You bet with NYRA Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the NYRA Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the NYRA Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with NYRA Bets.
How magnificent was Full Count Felicia. Never in doubt.
Coming down to the finish. First World War. Fort Washington on the outside. They're coming down to the line, and Goliad does it.
Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
So we started tours here about 30 plus years ago, and we really saw a need as more people started to come to visit to have a place for them to check in, restrooms, and a lot of people were also trying to buy merchandise. And so we decided to take this building that we had here on the farm and turn it into the visitor center. We have a lot of Secretariat stuff. We started with just a few items, but I mean, one of the main reasons people come here is to see his grave, and so that's what people want to buy and want to take home with them, because that's what they remember a lot about the tour. I really love the Secretariat stuffed animal. I think it just captures him well. It's great for Secretariat fans, but it also has our logo on it. We also added a shuttle tour a couple years ago. We were getting a lot of requests for people to see the rest of the farm. People always thought, what's over that mysterious hill? And so we bought an electric shuttle. We take them through the Mares and Foals division. The Visitor Center is open every day that we have tours from 9:30 to 12:30. I feel like we have a lot of families in the summer because they're doing their summer vacation and traveling, and then race fans April, October, November.
Back on our Friday coverage, our program brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Race 8, Tampa. 3 minutes to post, mile and 40 yards. It's for non-winners of 2 life shows, just a maiden win on the resume. All in for this tag to be purchased for $8,000. And it's the 9, Theo's Thunder, the favorite right now. Just missed from, wow, that was quite a finish last start. Just about dead last through the halfway point of the race and wound up just missing. Here's Party Hardy from the inside.
Party Hardy looks, I guess the last race is fast enough to compete here.
Paved in gold for trainer Tim Ham at 2-1.
Put a gun to my head, I'll bet this one lone speed in a paceless race on paper.
Remesis, big price off since September.
I'm not making the jokes I want to make. Ava's Kitten. Do you know the dam of this horse was named for Chad Brown's daughter, Ava?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
More of a turf horse.
This 4-horse, 1 for 12 lifetime, just was behind the 3.
But only 0 for 1 on the dirt and turns back and no, it doesn't turn back. It was routing last time. Excuse me.
Sorry, it was behind the favorite last start by 4 1/4 lengths. Paxton went by. Here's the 6, Blue Marble, blinkers on.
Yeah, I thought was overmatched.
King Reigert getting money for Kevin Rice.
Ditto. So the race 2 back's good enough, I guess.
It was in this level, though, last start did not make an impact. Strength and guidance for Antonio Sano.
Has one race that gives a chance, the rest give no chance.
Including last time out. Favorite out there somewhere, the 9, Theo's Thunder.
I would not pick this horse as the favorite. I don't want a horse coming from last in a potentially paceless race, but obviously he can win.
Yeah, it's going to get less ground to try and do it as well. And then centerfold guy, the outside post will stretch out slightly in distance.
Yeah, I mean, the last race, I guess, is good enough, but another horse that's outposted without a lot of speed.
And let's go back to the 9 for a minute.
Okay.
Is it I mean, it's a little bit of talk about a one-number horse from that last out effort, isn't it?
I agree. But I think it's fair to say that he has other numbers that are fast enough to be competitive here. My bigger problem with this horse, and obviously he can win, where neither one of us are going to say he can't, is you're betting a horse at a short price that is potentially really sort of out-dynamicked in this race, for lack of an English word to use. And also the co-favorite here, the 2, potentially could be the controlling speed in this race. So you've got 2 horses that the board is saying, and the 2's got plenty of races fast enough to win this race, more so, I'd say, than the 9. 2 horses who are the sharing favoritism, and one of them has a huge tactical advantage over the other one. I am always going to go the one that's tactical advantage. Doesn't mean you win, but I just would prefer the 2. Is the 5 possible here?
Paxton. Third off a short layoff.
Not much speed, but, you know, third off a layoff, stretches out a little bit. Thought it wasn't impossible, but, you know, I mean, I don't know that he really wants to go this far in the dirt, and he's just 1 for 16. Though he does have a good race in the sloppy track, but that seems to be a long time ago in his career, right? He's just not that horse anymore.
I mean, this level, form can rapidly change.
Yes.
But I'm with you.
Usually
to take 2 to 1
downward.
Yes,
right.
usually. To take 2 to 1 on Theo's Thunder basically off that last performance. Yeah, I'm with you. I would pass. 1 for 21 lifetime, by the way.
Yeah. I do want to say that one of the things I like about covering the races at Tampa, I'm a Jason Beam fan. I think Jason is really probably an underappreciated announcer in this game. I think he does a very solid job, and day in and day out. And there's a lot of good announcers around, but I think Jason belongs with any of them. Tampa's lucky to have him.
Indeed. Glad we get to hear his voice
Yep.
for our coverage. By the way, tomorrow's card, we have 2 stakes, including last year's runner-up for the Kentucky Oaks back in action, Drexel Hill.
Yeah, I saw Sarah's favorite horse. She loves that horse. That's not a race that has abundant speed. I think Safi Joseph has 3 in there. One of them did not fill. The Pasco didn't fill.
Yeah,
They're trying to fill it for Sunday, which is being drawn today, I believe.
Yeah, Safi has the race preceding that.
Yes.
Huge
Wayward
favorite.
Last.
Tessellate.
I believe Wayward Last.
Well, I'm talking about the race beforehand. Yeah, Tessellate's going to be a very short price.
I agree. Off that.
Gasparilla.
Where did Tessellate's last race come from? Because it was
Gulfstream.
Thank you. I'm interested to see if Lightscape can get faster.
I'm joking, obviously. He had felt, Safi Joseph Jr., she was showing him that in the morning all the time and just really kind of hadn't produced that race. Then she finally did. She broke dead last in that race, rushed up, and then just blew by that field.
No, that was obviously a very impressive race by her, and she runs that race. She's very likely to win. We'll see if Lightscape can get faster second time out. Tom Proctor has been struggling, has been winning a lot of races down at Tampa, and his horses are coming alive. I thought that horse ran very professionally first time out.
That joke usually goes over a lot better with my analysts. Where'd that race come from?
Yeah, you and I have been working together for a long, long time.
You did not want any of that.
Yeah.
Real quick, I know we have a minute here.
Take your time.
Drexel Hill, what do you I thought that was a pretty good effort off the bench.
I agree with you. I thought she ran very well. I mean, Fully Subscribed showed in her next start in the Cumley that she's, a late developing 3-year-old that could be in the conversation potentially if she gets a little faster in the big races next year. I think she is the horse to beat. I'm always loath to take horses that are deeper closers in those races. Early on, another for Safi, who I thought had potential. She's got to get faster. She was scratched a couple weeks ago out of an allowance race here. Maybe they just decide they wanted to run that race down there.
And Drexel Hill's going to get a little less ground, too.
Yeah, I don't worry about that.
No?
I don't worry about the distance as much. I worry about, getting the pace, getting the right trip in there, and a contender who gets a softer trip.
8-5 favorite here in this 8th. It is the 9 Theo's Thunder here. Deep closer. Sam Camacho rides. Jason Beam the call.
Just a couple more back, waiting on Paxton and Centerfold Guy will be all set for a start. Today's late double. Centerfold Guy, Richard Mitchell to the outside in the colors of owner Matt Mullins. Trainer Arno Dauber. Centerfold Guy coming up. And in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Bit of an awkward start there for King Reigard, who came away last. Blue Marble set for speed down on the inside, paved in gold. Those two quickly 1-2 as they run to that first turn. Just in behind them, Paxton and Ramesis looking for a spot also in behind. Tries to drop over to the inside, but holding that rail spot is Party Hardy in the second flight. Meanwhile, out wide, Strength in Disguise is back in the sixth spot. It's another half length, then back to Yemerhana Christos, who races in seventh. Then a space of 3 back to the slow starting King Reigard, who moves up inside of Theo's Thunder, and centerfold guy is the trailer. So they start their backstretch journey in paved in gold. Bet down 6-5, leads it by a length to Blue Marble in second. 24.10 seconds for paved in gold, who controls things up top, leads it a length and a tail. In the second spot, Blue Marble. Paxton out on the clear is third. Length and a half more. Back to Party Hardy, who's on the inside. Then comes Ramesis, Yemerhana Christos in between horses. And to the outside comes Strength and Guidance. That opening half, 47.58 seconds. Paved in gold to the far turn. Paxton now up into the second spot as Blue Marble's back third. These top two get away here. Paved in gold. Paxton within a half length on the outside. Those two are 4 lengths clear of Strength and Guidance, who's up on the outside into third. Blue Marble still fourth. Yemerhana Christos. Theo's Thunder is getting underway. Here's Theo's Thunder circling up 4 or 5 wide. Purple colors, teal cap is marching after the new leader, Paxton, who comes to the top of the stretch. Paxton a length and a half off the turn. Paved in gold. Theo's Thunder down the outside. Still has to make up 4, but has some momentum as they come by the 8th pole. It's Paxton and Marcos Meneses in front. Theo's Thunder paved in gold. They're second, third with a 16th to go. Paxton still there. The lead's a length and a half to Theo's Thunder, charging right down the outside. Theo's Thunder to win it. Give Sammy Camacho 3. Paxton was second. After that, Strength and Guidance paved in gold.
Theo's Thunder runs this one down and does one better than last time out. Not 2 for 22 lifetime.
Took it, even though the 2 got loose, didn't make any difference. And this horse came charging down late. Tough beat if you took the 5 at a generous 9-1.
Back to New York, nightcap coming up, and here comes our post break. $20,000 maiden claiming 5.5 furlong sprint. We don't see a lot of these here on the dirt. Hoyty Maroney back to dirt after going long on the grass last start.
Looks to be the inside speed, which is not advantageous on this racetrack.
First time starter and a gelding, the Fridge.
Hard to bet a firster that's not taking any money in this field.
Yeah, Dutro with Sahin Savachi. Here is Mo Spice, drops in class.
Probably going to be even money by post time and should be. I like the cut back for the Alpine. Shouldn't be forward necessarily. And Manny, stay off the rail.
David Duggan with a 4, first timer, Solo Street.
Can't take a firster that's this price, even for my man Dave Duggan.
Big drop. Tinseltown for Rob Atras.
Yeah, it does drop down second time out. Could improve.
Speed with Whiskey Runner.
Yeah, feels like he's forward. He was awful off the claim at a short price, but drops down.
And can Linda Rice get number 4 on the card with Bellamy, Flavian Pratt aboard?
I picked him second by default in this race. He draws very well on the outside. I just think there's some question of whether or not he's any good.
Minute to post to wrap up this card here in New York. Let's go down to Maggie.
And Greg, Mo Spice looks by far and away the horse to beat. Look, I even picked him, I think, in his debut against 2 eventual stakes winners in Schwarzenegger and Atfield. So maybe I'm way off base here, but I think in this field, he should dominate. Now let's look at some horses that may, or we already know, have speed. I think number 5, Tinseltown, is going to show more speed. He did break slow, and he was squeezed back, and then he was green from the kickback, and he saved ground. He got a good education. The blinkers go on here for Rob Atras. He just looks like a horse that should be a bit quicker. You know, those really well-developed and defined hindquarters to him, and he was pretty engaged in the paddock. So I think at least he'll put himself in a more forward position and give himself a better shot as he does drop in class here. Number 6, Whiskey Runner, we know he's quick, and so therefore the 5.5 furlongs, that does make a lot of sense. He hasn't lightened up with the addition of gelding or Lasix, which I would prefer to see, you know, just a little bit more definition. He's just that very stout and compact and heavier bone type. So less distance, better. Wish that those changes would be more apparent. Now, number 7, Bellamy, he's going to try to turn back in distance here sharply. He has gotten a lot stronger as he makes his first start for Linda, but he's such a laid-back horse that I don't know if that will lend itself well to cutting back so severely here. He looks great, and these are very dangerous connections as the blinkers do come off, but again, I'm just not sure if he's cut out to be a sprinter. Greg?
Cutting back in distance here. So Bellamy, Linda Rice, first off the claim, claimed away from Todd Pletcher. Blinkers come off, getting Lasix, drops in class and shortens up in distance. A lot of changes.
Yeah, and I mean, considering who's in this race, you've got a horse that you would think would be okay going short. He's a Yaupon, and he got a 47 buyer. I think a 47 buyer is probably even money or less to win this race. It doesn't mean he's going to run it here, and Manny needs to stay off of the inside with this horse because this is as big a dead rail as we have seen in New York in a long, long time, and we don't get dead rails here much anymore, but we've got one today.
Now here's Bellamy, who I was talking about. Yeah, still on the screen.
Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were touching on the favorite, 4-5 now on Mo Spice.
I mean, I guess Bellamy can win. It's more of a Linda Rice thing. I don't know. I picked this horse second by default, to be honest with you, Greg.
3 starts yet to hit the board. We'll see if today's different. Close out the card here. Let's go to Chris Griffin.
And they're off. Speed immediately from Mo Spice right towards the front is hard sent and has the pressure. Holding the rail is Hoyty Maroney, and these two hook up early, a pace duel, and now Hoyty Maroney is 3/4 of length in front. Mo Spice is back to second. There in third is going to be Bellamy, and rushing up the rail, that's Solo Street. Out wider, here comes a run from Whiskey Runner, is joined in tandem with Tinsel Town. Really having to check hard there with Solo Street. Got in a lot of trouble going into the turn. Then with 23.51, the trailer is the Fridge. Mo Spice is ranging up on the outside here of Hoyty Maroney, and 3 wide Tinseltown's on the move. Just behind them is Whiskey Runner. Then comes Bellamy, losing all that momentum with Solo Street at the back end, and the trailer, the Fridge, they reach the top of the stretch. And here comes Tinseltown to the outside of Mo Spice, who's now secured the front. Mo Spice is sprinting for home, approaching a final furlong. To the outside, Tinseltown with every shot is trying to catch this leader. From far out of it is Bellamy approaching a final 16th. Mo Spice is almost there. Mo Spice wins it. Bellamy gets up for second, then came Tinseltown and Whiskey Runner in 1 minute 6.32 seconds.
Mo Spice, odds on, 4-5. Brad Cox, Manny Franco. At a short price.
I think what I said before the race turned true. If he could run back to that 47 buyer, he was probably going to win this race. He paid 4-5 and probably should have been 4-5, if not less. He was better than him on paper and better than them on the racetrack. So this, Greg, this race was not run on TV screen. It was actually run on paper.
It was run on paper, yeah. Usually they are run on screens. This was the only horse, by the way, that would have resulted in the pick 6 getting hit. And
somebody had that 40-1 shot. Somebody was complaining to me because the 40-1 shot won and the exacta, they said only pay just under 600. 6-horse field exactas with 2 big long shots can never pay what you think they should because people are boxing the 2 longest shots on the board. I thought $600 was just fine for that.
And you're talking about race 4, Life and Light, one paid $87 and change.
My horse.
Just over, what's that?
I like that horse. I bet him on the turf.
Just over $26,000. This pick 6.
You deserve every bit of it. And that's for $1, and the pick 5 for $1 paid $20,000.
Not bad. All right, we'll have these prices when we come back. 3, 7, 5, 6. Mo Spice, Brad Coxbarn, Manny Franco dominates here in this finale on the Friday card for the Big A. Stay with us.
as the field turns for home. They're at the top of the stretch. 4-Star Dave coming a bit wide. Final Sunrise is there. Landef is in between them, and 4-Star Dave is 1 furlong away from 8 years worth of Saratoga victories. Here's the old boy coming down to the line. He's making a runaway of it. The legend lives on. 4-Star Dave wins again at the Spa. And a hand pat of victory from Richard Migliore. The old boy did it again.
The great 4-Star Dave and the Mega Board. What an incredible streak. One that impossible really hard to see something like that happening again. So important to the history of New York racing, and Saratoga, of course, trained by Leo O'Brien, who sadly passed away Thursday at the age of 85. Complications from dementia. Longtime trainer for a career that spanned more than 4 decades here in New York, and not just 4-Star Dave, but made history as well with his brother.
I agree. We'll talk about 4-Star's All-Star as well, who I was kind of heartened to read a story where Leo was saying he was the better of the two, because I always agreed with that notion. I mean, 4-Star Dave was a tremendous horse and a great story because of Saratoga, but, you know, more important with Leo. You know, I didn't know Leo that well, but well enough to know what kind of a good guy he was. I mean, it was just always a pleasure to see Leo, and obviously his accomplishments as a trainer speak for themselves. And, you know, very interesting story coming over from Ireland, because he was originally a steeplechase rider. And I was reading up some stuff last night. I believe that Joe Clancy had told me that he may have won the last steeplechase at Aqueduct before we recently ran a couple races with Belmont closed. And he ended up coming back here to train in early 81. And there he is. There's his son Keith and his daughter Leona next to him. Of course, Leona married to John Velasquez, and Keith, who works with us now at NYRA. But Leo, a very popular guy for good reason. Just a terrific guy to be around, and an excellent trainer, had quite a career. 4-Star Dave is the horse that people remember him by, but he had other good horses, in particular Yanks Music and 4-Star's All-Star. And what he accomplished with 4-Star's All-Star, I mean, I don't think it'll ever happen again.
First U.S.-based horse ever to win a European Classic, won the Irish 2000 Guineas, and he'd done that with what happened just a week earlier.
Yeah, he won an allowance race at Belmont just 7 days before this and went over there, and there he is on the outside. Mike Smith was saying how the rider of the horse inside was able to slip up the inside when there kind of comes a gap during the running of the race, but he was fine with him inside of him and was able to gut out the victory. He was a tremendous racehorse. He lost the United Nations by a nose to the great Lure. I guarantee you he's the only horse that will ever pull off the double of the Irish Guineas and the New Hampshire Sweepstakes, which I don't think they'll ever run again. But he had a tremendous career. He was an amazing horse. And I was reading the story of a writer in Ireland had gone back and talked to Leo back in 2020 about this incredible accomplishment. And I like the fact that Leo was talking and saying he was better than 4-Star Dave, because I always felt like that. I didn't want to say it. I felt like it would be heresy to say he was better than his brother. But Leo was saying something that kind of made me feel bad, and he's right, that he thought, I'm going to come back after this win as the conquering hero, you know, going over there winning this race, which he's absolutely right. It's an amazing accomplishment. And crickets. Nobody seemed to recognize it. And I was thinking, you know, Leo, if we had this show back then and this was on, I mean, we would have talked about that. And I think people in the time since then have gotten more acclimated to European racing, and more people follow it over here.
See how difficult
horse like
it is.
Frankel and different things. I believe if it happened now, he would get the credit that he deserved. It made me kind of feel bad that he didn't, because I was thinking, well, Leo, I would give you that credit too, and we would have as well. Everyone here would have.
People, including his son, thought he was crazy to even try it.
I thought he was nuts. I was thinking, this is embarrassing. He's going to get humiliated over there. I remember when he won, how exciting it was. It really was great. An amazing accomplishment. I don't think you can say enough. I know people have gone over to Ascot and they've done okay over there, not that often. And the horses that have won, other than the sprinters, the horse like Tepin was a pretty special horse, as was 4-Star's All-Star. To go over and do that a week after running at Belmont too, amazing.
Pretty good filly as well he had, who was 5 for 7 lifetime, Yanks Music, who won the Mother Goose, Alabama, Ruffian, Belle Dame, twice defeated former champion Serena Song in the process.
Here she is running down Serena Song in the stretch, and unless you were around back then, I don't think you can understand what an accomplishment it was running down Serena's Song. And she didn't want to get beaten. I remember, listening to Tom Durkin's call. You can find this race on YouTube. Tom thought Serena's Song was holding her, and then, Yanks Music comes back on to win. I think all of us were a little surprised. This came off. She won the Ruffian. She won the Alabama. She won the Beldame, and she won the Mother Goose as well. And let me tell you, that was a super year for fillies. My Flag also ran in that race. But also, Michael Dickinson had that really good Fleet Renee, who had trouble staying sound. But Yanks Music, I think Asina was that year as well. Yanks Music was a tremendous, tremendous filly. Unfortunately injured and didn't run again after that Beldame. But she was an amazing, amazing racehorse.
So whenever you think about this trainer, you're always going to think about 4-Star Dave. 8 straight years winning a race at Saratoga, how special that race course is, and tremendous the job he was able to do with that runner. He will be sorely missed.
I agree, and I think, what you're saying, obviously it takes a very good horse to do that, and Leo's the kind of person who would have given all the credit to the horse. I don't agree. Takes a great training job to keep a horse sound like that year after year after year, and going up there and running in those competitive races. And his final career race, he was 3rd behind Lauren Paradise Creek in the Barbaruka race he got hurt in. Richie on that day. Lauren Paradise Creek are 2 of the greatest American turf horses in the history of the game. Leo will be missed. He really left an indelible mark on racing, but a wonderful man, and our condolences to his family.
Family has said in lieu of flowers, donations be made in his name to the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund or the New York Racing Chaplaincy. Leo O'Brien passes away at the age of 85.
Look at these 2 juveniles going at it, and it is Forte.
It is Forte in front. Forte on to victory here in the Grade 1 hopeful.
The 2 of them coming down to the wire. Forte on the outside, and Forte to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
Forte starts to gather in the top horses. This is going to be very close, but the champion prevails. Forte wins.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
John Gaines started this back in the 70s, had such stallions as Riverman, Sharpen Up, Bold Bitter, Leafard, Blushing Groom. I think our slogan says it best: power, passion, performance. We're looking to be a power in not only the breeding sector, but in the whole thoroughbred industry. I think passion describes our team to the best. Mr. Beck and his family have owned this farm for almost 40 years. Brian Graves has been a part of this team for almost 20 years, myself here for 3 years, as we look to continue to grow. And I think performance describes our stallion roster perfectly, both at the racetrack and in the sales ring. And obviously, Tappet was a huge feather in the cap of the farm. He's done well for the last 20 years at stud. We have McKenzie with 5 Grade 1 stakes horses in his first crop. We have Drain the Clock and Olympiad with stellar sales results with our first crop yearlings. We were very excited this year. We brought 4 new stallions in. We had Grade 1 winner Tappet Tri, Son of Tappet, another Son of Tappet, Mandy Pope homebred Charge It, Muth, Son of Good Magic, only stallion retired this year in Kentucky that was a Grade 1 winner at 2 and 3, and followed it up with Preakness winner and Pennsylvania Derby winner Seize the Great. We were very excited to have a son of Arrogate. We were a big believer in that stallion. We bred to him several times. We're bringing Grade 1 winner Locked, son of Gun Runner, into the stallion roster for 2026. Grade 1 winner at 2 at Keeneland. Grade 2 winner at 3, defeating older horses in the Cigar Mile. Grade 1 winner this year at 4. Brian Graves, Anthony Beck, myself, and the rest of the team here, we look for these horses that are going to hopefully be breed shapers and trying to continue to grow the stallion roster here at Gainesway.
Proud to have Gainesway as a sponsor. Power, passion, performance. Gainesway Farm. We still have one race to close out our Friday coverage, which we'll get to in a moment. First, let's wrap up the finale here in Aqueduct. Mo Spice, Brad Cox-Barn, and Manny Franco for Al Free Jr.
I thought you made a very good point to me, Greg. If this had been part of 2025, I think it would have wrapped up the eclipse for Brad Cox. Getting it done here with the mighty Mo Spice. It's not about necessarily how good you are, it's how good you are relative to the rest of the field, and he was much better than the others.
It is pretty incredible, isn't it, with the volume of this barn, the win rate? I mean, he was actually down this year, 26%. He's usually about 28% with over 1,000 runners.
And I'll tell you, his assistant in New York does a fabulous job. They run extremely well here.
Mo Spice, big drop in class, and it shows to win at 4-5. Bellamy closing late to get second. Tinseltown completes the trifecta. There's that pick six, $26,215 for the buck play.
$6,000, I'm sorry, a little under $5,000 more than the pick five, which started with the third choice in the four-horse field, by the way, $7.
If you had Life and Light at 42-1, well done. This will wrap things up for us. Final race that we're going to bring you closes out the card here at Tampa and on the turf. Mile distance here. Condition claiming race, $25,000 tag. And the 3, No Mo Cookies. Switching Barns put together back-to-back wins on races that came off the turf at Gulfstream.
Well, he does appear to be the controlling speed. Other than that, I have absolutely no idea, or she is the controlling speed. Thank you, Greg. Other than that, I have no idea why she's a short price here.
0 for 11 on the lawn, but yeah, 2-1 favorite.
The 10 fairly logical in this race?
Yes.
This doesn't have a great post, but I thought she seemed to be the worst to beat on paper here. Seemed pretty logical.
I thought the 2 had a big shot.
I couldn't agree more. I think the 2 is a major player here.
The 6 ran a huge effort last start, and that was stretching back out, but comes from pretty far out of it.
Does come from pretty far out of it, but did run reasonably well last time.
I thought the 5 was interesting.
I agree with you on the 5. I think the 5 is very dangerous.
And then what about this one? Who 2 back was a winner at Gulfstream. That was back in March. Gets back on turf.
Does have a rider that's 5 for 122 in 2025, but 2 for 26 a year, so certainly turning a corner.
Debut came on grass. I could forgive the debut, and then wins the only other turf start. Here's the 3, No Mo Cookies.
I don't know why this horse is favored, but does appear to be the speed on paper, but is better on synthetic than turf. His turf races stink.
Yeah, no question. 11-01, Secret Victory.
I don't know what, the 3's a terrible favorite. Secret Victory, thought was a cut below.
Here's the aforementioned Morg's World, the 5.
I agree with you. Morg's World is definitely a player here at a generous price as of now.
Coming in from Laurel. Summer Flower, big effort last start to just miss by a nose.
I agree. Not impossible here.
Here's Let's Go Philly. Would be a shocker.
Yes, this would be a massive upset.
Shack Revenge.
I mean, has a couple races that make him not impossible, but I didn't like him.
Sea Shanty Sonny Leone for Gerald Bennett.
I think this horse is an overlay at 15-1 here. No, I didn't like this horse. I'm sorry. I like the 10 a little bit.
And here is the 10. Yeah, Bonita Breeze, major player.
I think this horse should be favored in here.
Yeah, I might be with you.
Second off a little layoff. Ran well last time. Had a little bit of trouble. Thought he was the one to beat.
All right, let's look at Summerflower and that last performance. It was here in Tampa, coming in from New Jersey, back on December 5th. And from pretty far out of it, just misses by a nose at a similar condition.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a lot to say. I don't have a lot to say about this race. These are not horses that I'm overly familiar with. And looking through the race, he just seemed like a horse that had a chance to win. He's fairly consistent.
Comes up the inside.
Yeah, he doesn't win that often, but I thought his last race was good enough to give him a chance. I prefer the 10. I don't like the 3 at all. I think he's she is a horrible 2-to-1 shot, speed or not. And I don't have enough to say. I know one thing. We better have something else to talk about over the next 8 minutes till they run this race, because I couldn't talk about this race for eight minutes if my life depended on it.
You look at that last start. That was fortunate, too, to get that. I mean, came up the fence, the inside, saved all that ground. And we'll see same rider back aboard. And we'll see if this one could get a similar trip. But 6-1 as we take a look at the 4 here. Secret Victory. Big price at 13-1. Morg's World, we both thought interesting. And this one probably at a price, maybe the most intriguing on the board, although I want to get back to the one in a moment. But okay. Morg's World, good form at Delaware on the grass, good form at Canterbury on the grass.
I think the biggest concern is this horse has not won a race in a long, long time, right? This horse's last win is over 2 years ago. That is a bit of a concern.
How much tougher, though, was that race last time out?
Much tougher. I don't disagree. And this horse has run races fast enough, so we'll see. Switches to a new barn. The barn's been winning at a fairly good percentage, so I think this horse is very interesting here.
The one just left our screen, and I think the one's very interesting, 10-1 right now, being dismissed a little bit. Debut came on the grass.
Right.
And then we didn't see this horse on the grass again until, start number 4, wins for 25 non-winners at 2. Mm-hmm. A lot of time off. I can forgive that comeback race on synthetic. The turf start is almost as good as anybody in this field, what they produce.
I think that's very fair. I don't know anything about this rider. That gives me a big concern. Riders with those kind of percentages. And listen, for all I know, he was unlucky in 107 of those 122 starts. But turf races always give me a little bit of a concern, but I don't disagree with what you're saying. I don't like that he was in a 4-horse photo when he won his mate and won the last race at Gulfstream, but I don't disagree. He's got some things to like. He's got more to like, in my opinion, than the 3, who's 5-2. I think the 3 is a ridiculous favorite. I think people are betting the 3 off of synthetic races. What turf race does he have that's any good? I just don't see it. Yeah. Speed or no speed, I don't see it. If he wins, I am completely wrong. I'd love to book him at 5-2.
I guess, are some people going further back to those maiden special weights on the grass when she didn't really make that much of an impact, but she was running against better company and coming up with some okay figures?
Yeah, no, I think the 3 is absolutely a terrible, terrible short price.
Yeah,
I'll put him in the winner's circle. I'll put her in the winner's circle. I do it a lot.
Both her wins on a different surface. She's 0 for 11 on the turf, and she's the 5-2 favorite.
I'm going to move on. I want to talk to you about Horse of the Year.
Okay.
You and I pretty much believe it's an open and shut case for sovereignty. Let me ask you a question. If you have, let's say you were to look at the entire year together and say Forever Young winning the Saudi Cup. Now, those races don't count.
Right.
It's for North American races. But you take the Saudi Cup, you take his Breeders' Cup Classic. If you were a voter, would you deviate from that and maybe consider him for that? I would not. And say he was the best horse all year, winning those 2 races.
But then it doesn't.
It
does
defies
not
the
count.
Rules, right? I agree. I don't.
Even having said that, I still think sovereignty deserves it. Even if that were part of the criteria.
Okay.
To me.
Okay. No, I'm not. I don't have a big argument.
Not, and you should not take it into account.
I don't like to set rules. But I don't have an argument with people that are ones that say, I'm not going to vote for a horse that made only 1 start in this country. And I think the problem this year is the rightful other horse is Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
He's a flawed horse, too. Yes, he was best when he was second in the Stephen Foster. Yes, he was clearly best considering what happened at the start in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. But he didn't win. And when you're dealing with Eclipse Awards, winning really matters, right? Even for me, who thinks about who the best horse in the race was, and he did only have that one win, albeit in a very good Whitney. It was a very impressive race. But he is a flawed choice as well, right? I mean, if you're somebody who says, would you vote for Forever Young for male, for the older male Eclipse?
We're talking about different categories here. So you're talking about...
We've gone from a horse to the year. You and I agree. Sovereignty should get the award. And I'm with you on that.
The older horse is a little bit tougher.
Forever Young deserves it for his classic race.
He does.
But I don't love the idea that he only made one start here. And there are awards in other countries to award these horses for those things. I don't love that.
But I think he's going to win it.
I do too. Because it's an imperfect... I think if Sierra Leone had won the Jockey Club, he would get it.
Yep. And that's really tough too, because you could say winning matters. And sometimes, the best horse in the race doesn't win. But that was beyond circumstances, too. That was, a horse coming in, falling down.
Crazy
he had to go
story,
around.
right.
I mean, that was even more, almost feel like that should be taken into account a little bit.
And while I don't believe that he is a winner in that category, I don't disagree with the notion that Mindframe should be third over Nisos. Nisos is getting it because he won the Breeders' Cup Mile, and I understand that, and that's fair. And I wonder with Mindframe, because I wonder if he could have won that Breeders' Cup Mile, or maybe by the end of the year he just wasn't the horse he was earlier. But he won the Churchill Downs Handicap. It's a grade 1. He won the Stephen Foster. Was he fortunate to win both those races? Absolutely. But he won them. And I think that does matter. And I think in that category, he is the other horse. I don't believe he's a deserving winner, but I believe that he should be a finalist over Nisos. But, Nisos won the Breeders' Cup Mile, and I think that matters, right? It's not like it was the only good race he had.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't 100% agree with your take that you can't have one star. I don't like it.
I'm not saying
I don't like it at all.
I don't like rules. I'm not. I don't have those definitive rules, but I don't disagree with people that have that rule. That say I'm not going to vote for a horse that ran only once over here. I'm not that guy, and I would probably vote for Forever Young this year.
Well, let me ask you this: what if you had a horse started here once in the U.S. and it was a flight line type of performance, winning the biggest race of the year?
That's why I don't have those rules.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I don't have those rules. And the other problem that I would have is Chad Brown's a good friend of mine. Peter Brandt's a friend of mine. And I would feel like I'm not sure if I voted for Sierra Leone, I wouldn't be doing it for personal reasons for friends of mine. So for that reason, I would tend to go the other way and say I should vote for Forever Young because I'm not. I'd like to think
I don't think that's fair to them either. You got to be able to separate yourself.
Well, if I clearly felt he deserved it, if I was somebody who said I'm not going to vote for a horse that ran once in this country, I would vote for Sierra Leone. But I'm not absolute on that, and I think Forever Young deserves it in that merit.
Yeah, I think we both agree this sentiment that everyone who does have a vote, and we do not vote,
right,
but that everyone looks beyond the basics and does the homework, because this is their life for these people. They put on all these hours, all this time, and what it takes just to get a horse to the racetrack. Do your part.
Well, I agree. I think there are some people voting that do a great job, but I think there's way too many people that barely follow the sport all year. They only look at the Breeders' Cup. They look at numbers. They don't know what happened during the year, and I don't think those people should be voting. I think you're absolutely right. When you think about how much effort goes behind the scenes to get these horses the race, it would be nice if all of the voters would respect that. Yeah. I think that's a great point, Greg.
Nightcap coming up here at Tampa Bay. Mile on the turf. In this conditioned claiming race, $25,000 claiming tag, all for sale for that price. The 3 has been favored throughout, although the 10 closing that gap. We fell 4-1 at one point, right, on Bonita Breeze, the 10, down to 5-2.
I wish I could book $100 in the 3 at 2-1. Now, for all I know, we'll go off at 7-2, but I probably still want to book him at that price. He wins, she wins, I lose. Dunce cap for me if the 3 wins.
Finale on the Friday card from Tampa. Let's go to Jason Beam with the call.
Secret Victory coming up. Your Shack Revenge. Mork's World and Bonita Breeze, the final pair, just about set to close the show here on a Friday. 2-1 No Mo Cookies, 5-2. Bonita Breeze, the last one to join. Goes in. They're in the gate. Mork's World throwing the head about there in post 5. Settles down. And the race is on. Good start for Morgan's World. Down toward the inside, Classy Lass is out quickly. No Mo Cookies is right there, and also Secret Victory as they come into the stretch for the first time. No Mo Cookies, Secret Victory, they're 1-2 early on. Classy Lass going to drop back with Morgan's World. They're third and fourth as they run toward that first turn. To the far outside, Bonita Breeze going to be 4 wide as they go into that turn. Down to the long fence there comes Let's Go Philly, who's in amongst horses. She Shanty is after that. Down to the inside, Summer Flower. Shack Revenge, Buddhist Prodigy had some trouble there with Shack Revenge, and Buddhist Prodigy, the number one, really running erratically there toward the outside fence, pretty much being eased out of the race for all intents and purposes. So they head toward the back stretch, 23.39, and No Mo Cookies lugging out just a touch there for Sammy Camacho, just narrowly in front of Classy Lass to the inside now. No Mo Cookies seems to be back on track. Down along the fence comes Classy Lass. Length and a half more back to Secret Victory. Outside of that one comes Morg's World, who's racing along in fourth. It's another length and a half to Bonita Breeze, who's alongside of Let's Go Philly. They're fifth and sixth. Sea Shanty is seventh. Then comes Shack Revenge, Summer Flower. Those top 9 only separated by about 6.5 lengths. Again, the one was eased out of the race. So they wind around that far turn. Here comes Secret Victory after No Mo Cookies. Morg's World, 3 deep, coming alive. Bonita Breeze just in behind them in the orange colors. Meanwhile, Classy Lass stays toward the inside. Summer Flowers trying to commence a bid. Is trying to weave between horses. Blue Silk's Black Cap. As they come around to the top of the stretch, Secret Victory and No Mo Cookies, those two. Classy Lass spies a seam down to the inside. Bonita Breeze right down the center is leveling out nicely as well. Final furlong. Here comes Bonita Breeze charging after Secret Victory. No Mo Cookies, Classy Lass. They're 4 across the track. Bonita Breeze on the outside. No Mo Cookies. Bonita Breeze going to go on to win it here. No Mo Cookies grabs second from Secret Victory. After that, Summer Flower. Get a photo.
Andy was all over this one from early on, and she actually floated up the right way. She went down to 5-2, I believe, late in the wagering. Winds up winning here at 7-2.
I don't think I was particularly right about the 3. She did run second here. I've won the bet booking her. I think it's absolutely insane that 3 was 2-1. This horse was 7-2. Just crazy, and got a very nice ride. Got good position, was not in great position. I thought Farrar got into that good position around the turn and got it done.
Bonita Breeze, Moises Yanez, Jose Ferrer to close things out on this Tampa card. We are back tomorrow. 3 Eastern start time. We got 2 stakes races from Tampa with that Wayward Lass. Drexel Hill, runner-up from last year's Kentucky Oaks in action. And the Gasparilla preceding that, Safi Joseph, with probably going to be a very, very heavy favorite in Tessellate.
We'll see if she can put back-to-back races together. I'll see you tomorrow.
Not just yet, my friend.
What are we doing?
I believe we have prices coming up. We'll try and get them here in a moment before we sign
don't
off.
have prices coming. What are we doing here?
We are going to say goodbye.
I'm done.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 Eastern. 2 stakes from Tampa to come on our Saturday coverage. It was 1-900 3-win day. Jose Lezcano in the 7th in our feature. And Mo Spice for trainer Brad Cox to take the nightcap here in New York. As mentioned, Drexel Hill, runner-up, last year's Kentucky Oaks, back in action in the Wayward Lass for Whit Beckman, making her 4-year-old debut tomorrow.